Welcome back to Breakfast. This is absolutely fascinating this morning. Prince Philip has been named in a secret FBI document linking him to the Profumo sex scandal. Really interesting stuff, isn't it? Angela Levin, royal biographer, joins us now. What do you make of it, Angela?
Well, I think it's absolutely amazing. At first you think, well, this is nonsense, and then you realise that the head of FBI sent a cable to US Embassy in London.
You're talking about Edgar Hoover here, aren't you?
Yes, I'm talking about him. 60 years ago, and it's hung around, and people have been trying to get the freedom of inquest request, and they've just released it now. I think that's absolutely astonishing. He's supposed to have had, or he may have had, some link with Christine Keeler and Mandy Rice Davies. Christine Keeler was a model plus some, and
a teenager.
Yes.
Yes, so she was having this affair with the politician John Profumo.
Yes.
At the same time, she was having an affair
with a Russian
diplomat.
Yes, that's right. And he was involved with the army and stuff. So it nearly brought down the Macmillan thing. And I think that that's very, very disturbing to think that a whole political empire could actually go down because of that sort of thing. So it's we have to wait and see what happens. But there, apparently, though, that the Crown series actually did a lot about this, about Prince Philip, but nobody took much notice. But now they wonder where the heaviness goes and what has happened. But they also say that the person who was involved with it most was Stephen Ward, who was an osteopath, and he organised things very much for the girls and actually lived next door to me. I never met him. It was a long time ago, but it was his house next door to me. I had very much interest in what went in and out there. Yes, so it sounds a dreadful scandal, but it is it is a possibility. But when you had the head of FBI dealing with it, you take it a bit more seriously, I think.
Yeah. Prince George, what do you want? This is William's son, George. Tell us about him.
Well, he's 11 today.
Happy birthday,
yes.
George.
We haven't had the picture. I hope that there'll be another picture by his mother.
Surely.
But she usually sends it in later in the day nowadays. Yeah. So he'll be 11. And actually, when he gets to 12, he can't fly in the same plane as his father, because you can't have an heir to the throne in the same plane as the person who is running. And so I think that's really sad. So he's got to enjoy it very much. He's going to have 2 parties, one in London with the family and friends, and then a big one later when he can have all his school friends and things like that. What's interesting about him is that he has been very, very shy, and Charlotte sort of overwhelmed him because she's amazing for her age and the way she behaves. But I think now he's coming out of that shell and he's much more at ease with himself, and he loves anything to do with sport. We saw him with his dad.
At the Euros.
Yes, and Aston Villa, he and his dad are there, and they're cheering away and hugging. And I think that's amazing to see, because they wouldn't do it in front of the late Queen, because she didn't like that sort of behaviour. But his father doesn't care. William loves him. And I think they're a great comfort to each other in these difficult times.
They're going to have a good season ahead, so I would predict with Aston Villa. So he is shy, or was shy, and then Princess Charlotte, very responsible, sees herself as, maybe better than the boys. And
she's one for discipline, isn't she? She tells them what's what.
Well, she knows how to behave.
What's the junior?
Louis.
Oh, I've got a soft spot for Louis.
Yes. But what's interesting is that she's the one who tells Louis off. But now I've seen that George is telling him how to behave. When they were on the balcony, turn round.
Yes, yes.
You know, and Louis listened to him, whereas I think that's quite interesting, because before he didn't do that. He might not have even noticed it, because he was, you know, much too nervous about what was going on. But now he's actually much more confident. And you see, when he walked with his father for the football match, he walked, you know, like his father. And what's lovely, I think, is that he's a mini-me of his dad, isn't he? Because when you watch them with the football, the first football I've watched really for more than about 5 minutes, wanted to see his movements. You know, they both went like that together. They both went like that together. They had all those sort of things.
Mannerisms.
Their mannerisms, and they just were very relaxed with it. And I thought that was really lovely.